Hi, my name's Juliet, and today I'm going to talk about the transcription script format in Scrivener 3 for Windows. Here I've opened up a blank Scrivener project because the transcription format is another script writing format that doesn't have its own template document. The format is intended for the type of transcription you might do for an interview or meeting, usually for a client, with timings included. It might be useful for something like a podcast transcription. I'm going to focus more on the specifics of this format here, rather than the basics of script writing formats in general. I already have a couple of other videos that cover more of the basics. First, select the transcript format from the Format Script Writing menu. Then make sure you're in script writing mode by selecting the first option from the script writing menu. You'll be able to see the script writing box in the bottom right-hand corner. This format has 3 text format options besides the general and general-centered text, which seems to be in all formats. They are Info, Time and Text, and Speaker, Time and Text. All 3 are set up with a text and tab format. Here's what happens when you choose each of the options. Info has bold text at the margin, a colon when you press tab, followed by plain wrapping text. Time and Text gives you a time format in plain text at the margin, and when you press tab you get plain wrapping text at the tab. Speaker Time and Text gives you bold text at the margin, followed by a colon when you press tab, followed by a time format at the tab point, followed by wrapping plain text. This one has a wider indent, presumably to account for names being longer than times, but it's still not that wide. You might have to tweak this. Okay, this is where the format gets clever. If you watched the last video, you'll know that you can import MP3 files into your Scrivener 3 project and play them, and I've already imported one into the research folder. I have my transcript format set up in a split panel on the left and my MP3 loaded on the right. And this is a Scratchpad screenshot of the keyboard controls for this format from the Scrivener manual. The controls will work on the MP3 file even when your cursor is in the transcript, so you don't have to switch between them. If you had 2 media files open, they'd work on the active one. Control and Enter will start and stop the player. Windows key, Alt, and right square bracket jumps forward 2 seconds. Windows key, Alt, and left square bracket jumps back 2 seconds. A little fiddly to start, but I'm sure you'd get used to these quickly enough. So, no transcription machine needed. The format without the speaker name, I guess, is just to timestamp specific elements of a conversation or recording. Stop the recording at the point you want the timestamp, press Tab. The time on the recording is automatically entered into the timecode, and type the text. Press Return, and you'll automatically continue with the same format. Scrivener, so many hidden features. If you start playing your transcript and stop when a person starts talking, type their name identifier and press Tab. The time on the recording is automatically entered into the timecode. Type in the words spoken, press Return, and you'll automatically continue with the same format for the next speaker, and so on. If the formatting isn't quite right for you or your client, which I'm pretty certain it won't be, with regards to fonts and the like, you can go into Format, Script Writing, Script Settings, and change what you need to. If you want to change the indent, put the same measurement into left indent and first tab. Another thing you might want to have, if you have standard speaker terminology, is to add that into the autocomplete list. There is more detailed info on saving formats in the interview format video, but basically you can either save a temporary format for this project by pressing OK, a permanent format into your menu by selecting Manage, Save for use with other projects, or have a template that you can load up when required by selecting Save to File and then using Load File when you want to access it. A couple of other options for changing the format would be to change the format on the page, because this is compiled as an as-is format, probably best done after you've typed everything up, or to change it in Word once you've compiled. If you have to add any front pages, notes, etc., be sure to exit scriptwriting mode before typing into those documents. Now, let's look at the printout. Remember, this is a scriptwriting format. All the formats and section layouts are as is. It just depends what you need. This one will give you a page break before the transcript, but that shouldn't be an issue as this is likely to be a single document project anyway. The printout looks exactly like the editor page, so no obvious issues there. Obviously, if you're doing this for clients, you're going to be sending them the file. I assume you would send Word rather than PDF because there might be parts of the audio you couldn't make out, and the client might have to make changes. This format will work for that, as the text is transferred across as indents. And I'm pretty sure no client will want their typed up conversation sent across as an ebook, so I'm not even going there with this format. Thanks for watching, and if you've subscribed, I'll see you again next time.